Hello, and welcome to another Dune lore video. In anticipation of the newest adaptation of Frank Herbert's beloved novel Dune, I've been exploring the intricate heroes and villains who play a part in this epic story. In this installment, I'll be exploring the character of the twisted mentat assassin, Piter De Vries. If you haven't seen my character video on the mentat Thufir Hawat, I encourage you to check that out also, as it adds some more insight into the role of mentats, and will further emphasize the stark contrast between him and Piter De Vries. Mentats themselves provide a vital service to the universe. Humans have come to develop over thousands of years under a guiding commandment: "Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a human mind." 10,000 years before the events of Dune take place, a great revolt against thinking machines ravaged the galaxy and forever changed the course of the future. Artificial intelligence came to be banned, but this eventually extended to all computing technology. Humans then concentrated on refining and developing their natural abilities and skills to take on roles previously performed by these machines, even surpassing them in what they could accomplish. Mentats possess exceptional cognitive abilities. They are able to retain and process vast amounts of data to produce extremely precise computations and analytics. They are able to apply these abilities to the study of people as well. They are trained in the minutiae of observation and can hypothesize outcomes of situations with great accuracy. Mentats are an invaluable resource to the nobles among the great houses in the Empire, as they can accurately predict events and strategize accordingly to the great benefit of the houses they serve. They are mostly described as human supercomputers, which is accurate, but the applications for their abilities are quite extensive, especially in regards to political and military matters. Their abilities are even comparable to the effects of the drug spice, which can enable some to see into the future. Mentats can be used for the great benefit of others, but whether those ends are for good or great evil depends much on whom they serve. This is very much the case with the twisted mentat Piter De Vries. The Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, enemy of the noble House Atreides, specifically wanted a mentat by his side who was not limited by the restrictions of a conscience or ethics. In his plan to end the Atreides bloodline while putting his house in a position to one day assume the imperial throne, he recruited Piter to be his architect, whose purpose it was to design this wicked scheme. The Baron is quite cunning himself, though to pull this off he required the masterful planning ability of a mentat. This was the best possible way to take down House Atreides, who has in its service some of the best warriors and strategists in the galaxy, including that of Thufir Hawat, a mentat known and praised even by the Emperor himself for his skills. Piter De Vries is certainly just as cunning and intelligent as any other mentat. However, without the restrictions of morality, the possibilities are expanded for him to be able to fulfill the Baron's wicked will. Legitimate mentat schools strive to instill and capitalize on students who display admirable qualities. Those students who do not live up to these ideals are generally expelled from the school. The term twisted mentat is used in reference to Piter and applies to individuals like him who have been trained by the Bene, a shady organization of geneticists and cloners who often recruit these expelled mentats and twist them. They do this by fostering negative personality traits that exacerbate their unpleasant natures to the point of some becoming psychopathic killers, as is the case with Piter De Vries. Piter was sent by the Tleilaxu to House Harkonnen upon the Baron's request for a mentat with his capabilities, and by the time Frank Herbert's first book begins, Piter has been in the Baron's service for some time. Piter is cunning, with an insatiable lust for power, and an expensive spice addiction. Piter also tends to take pleasure in the more sadistic aspects of doing the Baron's bidding. He has an interesting relationship with the Baron, to say the least. His obedience to Vladimir is mostly driven by his desire for power, self-gratification, and self-preservation. As a mentat in the Baron's employ, Piter is intimately aware of the fact that in this house, everyone is seen as expendable, especially once they've outlived their usefulness. Knowing this, he works very hard to make sure his value to House Harkonnen is plainly manifest. To sum it all up, Piter and Vladimir have a most toxic relationship based on selfishness, deceit, and treachery. The most evil qualities found in Piter also further emphasize the villainous yet genius nature of Baron Harkonnen himself. Yes, Piter is incredibly intelligent, performing feats of deception others would consider impossible, even by mentat standards. But it is the Baron who is able to use such an individual as if he would any tool or weapon, thus revealing the Baron's own cunning and devious nature. Piter is described as having a sweet musical tone to his voice that will send chills down your spine. He's tall, slender, somewhat effeminate, with hawk-like features. His lips are stained red by drinking sappho juice, a substance said to enhance mentat abilities. He also has the trademark deep blue within blue eyes of spice saturation, a physical manifestation of his addiction to the substance. Previously, this role has been portrayed by Brad Dourif in David Lynch's 1984 film, and by Jan Unger in the 2000 Sci-Fi Channel miniseries. This time, the role of the Twisted Mentat will be played by David Dastmalchian, who I think is a spot-on casting choice. He has had a successful career with a variety of roles, but his ability to portray a villain is definitely well within his wheelhouse. In the book, Piter gives off such a sinister vibe, and I'm hopeful that David's performance will capture more of the character's venom and killer instinct than previous adaptations have. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he talked about his role in the upcoming Dune film, and I was happy to see that he seemed to have such a good grasp not only about his character, but about the book itself. He proves to be very insightful when commenting on Frank Herbert's writing style, as well as his approach to character creation and development. After watching that interview, I can't help but get excited to see how he portrays the cunning and sadistic Piter De Vries on the big screen. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Dune and other sci-fi and fantasy content. And let me know in the comments what you think about the character of Piter De Vries and the casting of David Dastmalchian. Also, let me know what you think about the previous portrayals of this character and what you're hoping to see from this new adaptation. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.